Good morning. Today we're going to talk about our lesson in terms of this painting by Botticelli. This is called The Birth of Venus, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this picture that we've been studying. The first thing that I'd ask for you to notice with this picture is the fact that Venus is standing at the absolute center of this picture, and everything that's going on around the picture is radiating from her. So if we think of the picture like this, if we think of it from above, there's a space, and she makes up a sort of central figure, and then radiating around her we have the other figure over here, and we have the other two figures right there. And so she occupies that central point. And where that point is, we might call that a focal point. We might say, it's the place that our attention is being directed to by Botticelli, by the artist. And so we have that power as artists. Like you'll notice right here, that's very similar to what we've practiced, right? This is radiating lines. And look at these lines here. Also, these lines here radiate as well, like this. And they're radiating around this central axis. Now, a thing to notice too about this central axis, look at the curves that we've built, that have been built into this picture. So you start out with kind of simple curves. Each one of these is a simple curve. However, if you put them all together, it becomes a really complex curve, right? So you're like a triple curve again, like what we practiced. Same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you don't have to be drawing this stuff yet. We're just talking about this picture right now. And so it's a curve like that is being used there. Here, let's look here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. 5. So you have this locking in with these, with an S, kind of a B locking in with an S. Uh-oh. Notice these. Ellipse, 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 ellipse. Growing larger and getting smaller as it disappears in space. How about these shapes in here? And then you see how they get smaller as they go back? The hardest thing for me to achieve with my Drawing 1 students is this sense of pictorial space that goes back, that goes this way, right? That's the achievement that I want most for you guys, and I find it to be really complicated and hard to convince people of. Look at this radiation here. Here's a real point of radiation, which goes 1, and then radiates directly into the curves of the figures. Again, look at this radiation. And here's another one. So I'm starting to feel myself like this radiating principle, look at this is all radiations. I'm starting to feel like this radiating principle really dominates our art production, and like we should be taking deep advantage of it. It's very easy. Okay, so let's hide Botticelli for a little bit and we'll move into our practices. So we'll start out with ellipses again. And today's beginning with ellipses. And this I want for you to draw. And what I want you to do today is I want for you to gradually increase the diameter. The diameter is this distance. On an ellipse, you have what's called the major axis, which goes that way, and the minor axis, which goes that way. So an axis cuts a thing, right, forms an axial relationship. So, and this one cuts it into this way, and that's the minor, and here's the major. Okay? And so what I want for us to do is gradually increase the diameter of the minor axis while leaving the major axis the same. And I might try to decrease as well. Do you notice when we do this that the effect that we're achieving is an effect of, it's like a hill. It's like we're looking way down into this, but we're seeing this. So that effect, what you're starting, that effect, which is an effect of space, is that's perspective. Okay, so we're starting. This is very basic perspective stuff. Okay, so let's keep moving. So let's do the same now, starting with this one. But this time, this guy, what we'll do is we'll get bigger from there in diameter, and we'll get smaller. Okay, so but we're starting with a middle diameter. We're going to get wider and wider, and you're trying to stay lined up this way. You could even put a line in right there. And now you're trying to get smaller, but stay in that. and smaller. Okay, so we'll do it again, starting with our middle, and let's put lines and getting smaller and smaller, and we're getting bigger, and that's as far as I can go there. I'm just making them reach my, and okay. And now onto radiating circles. I'm going to start with a circle, and I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to do a ring of little circles, and then a ring of slightly bigger circles. Nice. So that's a page. Okay, now we'll move into curves, and we'll start out with radiating little curves, single curves with the radiation. And then we'll go into a double curve of the radiation. I'm not being smooth at the point of my curve. It's good for me to practice this. It's a great design move. Okay, and now we'll go into triple curves. Oopsies, I didn't do a triple curve yet. That's my first triple curve. And you're really looking for the feeling of your hand flowing. If you can establish that feeling in practice, you can use it in your art. Cool lines. The triple curve. Okay. Back to straight lines. And we're going to draw our grid. Marking the center of things is a great way. It's a really critical skill. Building your sense of looking at something and saying, that's the middle. Oops. Didn't do such a great job with that one. Marking points and connecting. Some long, some short, all different directions. Constellations. That's what this exercise should be called, constellations. And imagine having the power to draw a really beautiful line any direction that you want it, any length that you want it, without using a ruler. So freehand, just a beautiful freehand line. And that's what we're practicing, that's our hope. Okay, constellations. Now we're going to go on to today's lesson, and what I want to start to do with today's lesson is I want to introduce the idea of lines really that are tending towards a specific direction, right? So these are lines that are radiating from something about there. They're tending towards, okay? And you can put in a little dot, but then I want for you to sketch lines that tend towards this dot. And what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to pick one and draw a line perpendicular to it. Pick one inside your radiation. So we're tending in a direction and we're ending. Okay? Radiating, tending, ending. And these you could crop too, like that. And notice that the effect now is so long as these lines are parallel, you see these lines, so long as they're parallel, the effect is of a plane in space. It's really cool. It looks like planes in space. And if you wanted, the plane that you've made, you could outline it with a little harder line. That will really help it be seen. Using heavy line weight shows the plane. Okay, that's going to be our warm-up for today. Nice job, guys.